Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gum.
How rude.
How rude! And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is
Kay.
And today we are reviewing an Amazon original TV series called Hunters.
Nazi hunters discover hundreds of high-ranking Nazi officials in 1977 New York City conspiring to create a Fourth Reich in the United States. The hunters set out to bring the Nazis to justice and thwart their new genocidal plans.
So, like Netflix, Amazon has released all 10 episodes for you to binge away. I don't know if you will be able to binge it all in 10. It's quite heavy going. It's this content, as you can tell, is about killing Nazis, and it's all about the world that came before in World War II, and now we have these hunters, these people, this group of eclectic, interesting, different people, played by people like Al Pacino, who is the group. And I have to say, for me...
He's the group?
He's the group. He's the lead of the group.
Right.
He is the whole group.
Yeah.
Lead of the group. For me, this is probably his best performance. I've seen him in a long time. I mean, I love him in films like A Scent of a Woman, Devil's Advocate, Heat, which is probably my favorite. But this, for me, I was like, yeah, this is him. He's really juicy acting in this.
Yes.
Juicy acting. He really takes on this role as the kind of mentor father of this group.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a nice father, but an interesting one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Hunters.
So you will get a
Wow.
yeah, one of those. So you'll get a certain vibe from the first episode, which is feature length, so that's like an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll go into the second episode and you'll be like, what? Because they suddenly do something really different. And I won't give any spoilers because I don't like spoilers. In fact, the trailer's full of spoilers, don't watch it. But yeah, try not to be too sort of like jarred when you go into that second episode. Because then from the second episode onwards, they do this thing where they sort of go into somebody's mind, and it's like a music video or a game show or something completely crazy and off the wall, and it can sort of take you out of the moment a little bit.
Yeah. I thought the pilot was excellent.
Me too.
It's an hour and a half, like feature length, into this world where you are introduced to these characters that have gone through horrific things.
Yeah.
I particularly like the way they show how people survived and did things in World War II. If you were in a concentration camp, they might take liberties, but it is based on a true story. So you have things like when they're getting the tattoo and how that would have worked. So there's really interesting bits that they put in there that makes it feel, I thought, really real, really tangible, which makes you feel the emotion that they're trying to get across for, this is already a horrific thing. Yeah. And so the justification of that is this team who want to now, the audacity of these Nazis living in America, they want to go take them out and make them pay for what they've done. So that's the plot and the outline, and the first episode really gives you a feel for what you're going to do. And like you said, it does change a bit, but I would say there is for the most part, it's very similar as you go along in those episodes. Except for, it did feel like they didn't have confidence that maybe it wasn't too dark, and so they had to bring a levity to the series.
They're just
with
trying to
comedic moments.
lift it up with these weird comedy moments that I'm not entirely convinced that they work. They tended to just sort of snap you out of the emotions and everything that you're feeling. But maybe that was their intention. Maybe they were worried for all of our mental health.
Yeah.
There were some moments where I was
very
actually
dark
crying.
Moments. Yeah. And it's done very well. I don't think it's done in a way that is making fun of what happened. I think they've taken it seriously, but at the same time, it is a story that they need to take the audience on this journey. I don't want to say adventure, but it is an adventure-esque story, because you have this group that almost like heroes, and within that you get the scripting, which is also surprisingly quite geeky at times. So it references things like Star Wars and superheroes. One of the main protagonists actually works in a comic book store, and his best friend works in a comic book store. So you have that kind of scripting and dialogue purposely put in the series, which I think is really good, because that does bring a levity to it. So I'm not sure that they needed to put in these weird, almost propaganda video bits.
Maybe that was the point, you know. I do also think that it's sort of like roundabout the episode 2, 3, 4 mark. I felt a little bit like they were caricaturing the Nazis quite a bit, and I felt that was unnecessary. I felt like if these people were intelligent enough to, you know, slip into the country and go undiscovered for 30 years, why are we making them out to be these sort of caricatures of people?
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of like Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, where some of the Nazis there were caricatures of themselves, where they were these embellished Nazi bad guys, or like Hellboy, where you get those Nazi guys that are so much more like you have a character of what you think a Nazi warlord or
just
person
so
is.
Stereotypical, but then also like made to be a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Like fanatical and stupid.
But they're showing us how highly intelligent they were as well. So there is a contradiction in that.
There is. And I think that's actually what I found quite unsettling about this whole series, is that it was a bit, everything is a little bit like changeable. Is that the right way to put it? Like the characters, you think you've nailed it. Okay, this is what this character is like, and then they do something else, and you're like, whoa, hang on, that's not what I thought they were like. And so there's this unnerving, unsettling kind of like, well, are you a badass or are you not? Are you this person? Or are you not? Are you this? Are you that?
It is hard because with this particular storyline, you want to know who the good guys are and you want to know who the bad guys are. And if that's interchangeable, it's hard for you to get to grips with like what's actually going on, which brings the uneasiness to it. But putting all that aside, as a made TV series, it's very well made.
It is.
The cinematography, the scripting, the dialogue, the acting at parts is phenomenal. Like really, really great emotional moments like brought you to tears. And then some great comedic moments as well that brought me to laughing. And then there's score moments and things that I wasn't expecting, but it's all very well crafted. So originally when this kind of teaser trailer came out for this series, it was, let's just say it was one of those that seemed to trigger people. And I kind of wonder if this is something that we need to talk about sometimes, because art in media is so subjective, and it seems like now everything triggers everybody. So you're not allowed to talk about or film something anymore just because in case you upset somebody. But this, World War II is a thing that happened, and it's a big part of not just the German or Jewish culture. It's world culture. It's world history. And so that's rife for the picking for somebody, a creative art person that wants to tell a story. It may not be completely truthful, and I doubt it all is. In fact, if you are a Jewish person or know something about the truth about the story, let us know in the comments.
I would love to know.
I'd love to know your aspects or your views on this. But I have to say that people get upset for the weirdest reasons now. You can't do anything creative-wise or say anything without getting bombarded. And so this teaser trailer had that. People just like down thumbs it and be like, how can you make this is, not the time, we should put this apart. This is going to bring about more hate and more controversy. And if that is something that you get triggered by, then it will bring about more hate and more controversy, because that's something that you're
going to feel that.
But if you can see it as a well-made crafted TV series with Al Pacino in it, like who doesn't want to watch that? Like Nazi hunters, adventure storyline, and then it becomes also moralistic. There's this whole moral theme that's driven, and I think they tell the story really well that way, because you are always questioning, is that okay to do? Should they be doing that? And I think that's like one of the main stories. I do really like the themes of it. So I think if you immediately start on watching this and like, I'm not going to like this. This is bad. I think you won't like it because you've decided already.
You can find you can confirm your bias, confirmation bias, thing.
But the main theme of this whole series is love and family. And that's because family is what starts this. It's about their history and about carrying on and what is justice. Yeah, so at the core of this series is there's this whole moralistic question. So if you have a bias towards this, you're definitely going to have a bias towards this through the series. And if you decide to like it or not like it, then that's your prerogative. But this whole series is about family and love and what drives us and what is justice. And it definitely gets you to ask those questions.
Yeah.
So I would say go and watch this with an open mind. It's a fantastically well-made series that I personally think is worth your time. I think it's crafted, the acting and everything, cinematography just looks great. I'm going to give this an A. Even with the few issues that I mentioned, I still think it's really solid. What are you gonna give it?
Well, I'm going to give it a controversial B++.
Wow.
I know, just scraping the bottom of an A. And I think partly because I felt like there were a few moments where they weren't sure which way to go. And so they kind of did both. They're like, oh, we'll make it funny and we'll make it stereotypical and then we won't. And yeah. But maybe that was on purpose.
Maybe. So do chat to us in the comments below about this one. Let us know if you want us to do a spoiler review about specific plot points, because we can do if you'd like us to. Definitely want to chat to you guys about this in the comments below, because this is an interesting one to talk about for sure. The subject matter alone is worthy of talking about. Do try and keep it spoiler free in the comments below.
Oh yes,
if possible.
If possible.
I often have to delete comments because you've just completely given a big spoiler away. Do the spoiler thing and then do the ... That's helpful to everybody that's chatting in the comments below. So I look forward to chatting to you there. But most of all, until next time, remember,
live long and Tuesday.